My name is Steve Alten. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and I am the author of El Testamento Maya and La Resurrección Maya. And I'm here to talk to you about both stories. This is a trilogy based upon the Maya doomsday prophecy predicted in the Mayan calendar 2,300 years ago. And how I came to write this book was that in 1999, I decided that my second novel was going to be about the asteroid strike that hit Earth 65 million years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs, paving the way for modern man. But the asteroid was something else. And as I began researching the Chicxulub impact crater, which is in the Gulf of Mexico and covers part of the Yucatan Peninsula, I realized that there was a better story here, that the Yucatan dealt with the Mayan culture, that the Mayan culture had Kukulkan and his amazing Mayan calendar and all of its doomsday prophecies. And when I read that, I realized that this had to be the crux of the story, that it was a 2012 story. And again, I wrote the first book, El Testamento Maya, in 1999. At the crux of the story is the fact that in man's ancient past, every successful ancient culture has had a mysterious leader. The ancient Egyptians had Osiris, the Inca had Huiracocha, the Aztec had Quetzalcoatl, the Maya had Kukulkan, and the builders of Stonehenge may have had a mystical figure that later became Merlin. Who were these guys? How were they described? And why were they here? Why did they impart this knowledge on man? Well, it turns out that every one of these wise men built an ancient structure that it remains a mystery. We had no idea how they were able to move these stones. For instance, in Giza, there are 2,300,000 stones that weigh between 10 tons and 50 tons. We don't know how they were able to move them. Same thing with Stonehenge. These huge sarsen stones weigh 10 tons and were dragged miles in order to get to the site where Stonehenge was built. The Kukulkan pyramid in Chichen Itza is a ziggurat of stone. It's a four-sided ziggurat of stone, a calendar in a sense. 91 steps on each side. The platform up top equals 365 as in days of the year. And every fall and spring equinox, when the sun hits the pyramid on the northern balustrade just right, the shadow of a giant serpent appears, and it's been appearing that way for over 1,000 years. And Kukulkan and his followers did not build that as a tourist attraction. They built it as an ancient warning, all pertaining to the Mayan calendar. Well, El Testamento Maya begins with the asteroid strike that hit Earth 65 million years ago, and then it fast forwards to 2012, right before the fall equinox of 2012. And we meet the hero of the story, whose name is Michael Gabriel. And Michael Gabriel is the son of a famous archaeologist, Julius Gabriel, and Julius Gabriel was the foremost authority on the Mayan calendar. He spent the last 40 years of his life investigating the calendar and trying to figure out what was at the doomsday prophecy. Well, Julius died of a heart attack, and Mick was so distraught over what had happened, because it was a public humiliation that caused his heart attack, that he flipped out and was arrested, and the powers that be put him in an insane asylum in Miami and locked him up, diagnosed him as a paranoid schizophrenic. Well, Mick is trying to explain to the world that humanity is being threatened on 3 months coming up. And the only one who will listen to him is his new graduate intern, Dominique Vasquez. Now, Dominique has Mesoamerican blood. Her maternal ancestors were Mayan, but she's been Americanized. She doesn't believe in any of her history. And it takes this confrontation with this bizarre character, Michael Gabriel, in an insane asylum to convince her that her Mesoamerican heritage is actually true. And they begin a tale and a journey that actually parallels the creation story that was told in the Mayan Popol Vuh, which is one Hunahpu travels to Xibalba, which is the underworld, and confronts the gods of the underlords of the underworld, and is decapitated. And First Mother comes along and finds the skull and is magically impregnated. Well, we learn of this story throughout El Testamento Maya, and it leads us directly up to the events of December 21st in the year 2012. Now, La Resurrección Maya is a continuation of that story. And it's really out there. It goes beyond 2012 into the 2030s. and it really parallels the Mayan Popol Vuh creation story of what happens after Wun Hunahpu is decapitated. Turns out that First Mother is impregnated with Wun Hunahpu's sons, twin sons, the Mayan hero twins, and they grow up, and according to the legend, when they're 20 years old, they travel to Xibalba, the underworld road into hell, and confront the underlords who destroyed their father. In Resurrection, the hero twins, we watch the hero twins as they're born and they grow up. One of the twins, Jacob, is white-haired with deep blue eyes, Hunahpu eyes, and has amazing powers. His twin brother, Manny, is dark-haired with brown eyes, and he has none of these same powers. And as the twins grow up, their lives are threatened. They're treated like the second coming of Jesus. The world's going a little bit nuts. And, but all of this is culminating in their journey when they're 20 years old to the underworld to resurrect their father. Only something different happens. The crux of the story, the Domain trilogy, as I learned as I was writing it, is that the Maya believed that time was cyclical, that things go in circles. Most people believe that time is linear, but I do believe that it's cyclical as well. And the Domain trilogy really focuses on that cycle that happened beginning 65 million years ago when the object hit our planet and changed our planet forever, paved the way for man's ascension. And what is waiting for us out there? What is the destiny of our species? What happens after Homo sapiens, which is what we are today? Scientists have predicted that we will become post-humans, which is something far more spiritual, far more intellectual, and Resurrection gives us a sneak preview of what's awaiting us, not 20 years in the future, but 1,000,000 years in the future, and why we are here today. I hope you enjoy the series. There'll be a third book in the trilogy, Phobos, which I'm going to start writing this summer, and I've already committed to getting it to the Mexican people before anybody else. And I do appreciate you listening to me and bringing me down to Mexico, and hasta luego.